What do you make of the performance of the girls yesterday? Let's start from there.
It was good. Surprised? No. Because I've seen them turn up when they are faced with certain difficult situations, not once, not twice, but at least 3 times in Morocco. And so I'm not really moved by the fact that a lot of people had other thoughts or other predictions ahead of the game and they came out or they turned up like this. I feel that what I wanted to see, I saw. The level of competition they're giving themselves, especially the very reason everybody is talking about Cynthia Findip-Conlan, the fact that I'm sure she sat back and realized that the minute Afia Menyaku is out there, clearly she has to also sit up. And I'm happy for her for the fact that she took that bold decision to come down and play with FC Samatex ladies when things are not really going well in Squecky and she had to look for a club. To rather sit idle, I'm happy because in the last 5 weeks it has offered her 4 Premier League action and then 1 Women's FA Cup action. So she's been active and it was evident in how she kept. Clearly, nothing really jittery or let me say lacking in that department. I was really impressed with Benedict Simon. Yes, first day jitters allowed, and this is the only point of where she can make the mistakes and then we will correct it than go or present her in games that will need points and then those mistakes will be made. I'm sure going forward she herself will look at her first 15-20 minutes and know that she was really in a haste to fit in there, but when she came down and then decided to play, that is the level of quality we want for the senior women's national team. The goals were, could we have avoided them? Maybe the first one, but for penalty is the referee's decision, and it could have. Cynthia had the direction, but I think Russo's power behind that shot, clearly she couldn't have stopped it. And so, for me, it was a fair game. I, for one, that I was not looking for results. I'm not really concerned about that, but I am happy with how the girls came out, not scared. Yes, in the opening minutes, they gave the Lionesses some level of respect, but I think that when they came down and realized that they could enjoy themselves and play the game, they played their hearts out like we would have all wanted. And I'm very happy that Grace Asantua keeps getting better every other time with the senior national team, commanding that middle together with Jennifer Kujo. I am happy. But once again, my worry will be who will take up that mantle after Portia Boache, because the way she's going, you can only wish she's that younger to give us a lot more years. But come on, it will come to a point she might not just be able to continue. And I'm really happy with how she steps up to lead and play every other time. So yes, I'm sure we learned a thing or two from that game, and we really need to work on our finishing as well. Yes, Kofi Kim also came in and showed that she could fight when she's given the opportunity to also play. And I like the fact that Kim allowed almost everybody to have a feel of the game. Clearly not everyone can be on the pitch at the same time, but he was able to manage the time. But for I think Nina Noshi, Kari McCarthy, and 2 or 3 others who couldn't play, but we are all a part of history that has been made. So a good point, let me say a good moment for our women's football. And I think that yesterday the girls showed up. I go back, I sit back and I read the comments on social media, and I am very happy. It's always just giving us a sign that it will change our mindset about the women's game and decide to support. This is what we will get. Hitherto, if we were in neck deep in like this, I'm sure we would have gone above this level. South Africa and Morocco were playing almost at the same time, so it tells you that everybody's preparing for AFCON. And if you have been able to get this level of test, they need to give us more to be sharper ahead of March 2026. And I think that the Queens will come good, but as much as we are trying to praise this cup and very happy with it, I just wish that we don't get to the point where they will fade out completely before we start to rebuild again. Let's just have the eyes for the next crop. Let's get another generation or another set of players in line to be able to be that perfect backup and continue from where these queens or this crop will leave for us. And I think we are building that very well, especially in the goalkeeping department with Afia Menyaku. She is a very good backup for Cynthia Findip going on in the future. So for me, I was not too happy, I was not too surprised. Impressed extremely. I was extremely impressed. I knew they were going to be able to stand this test and try to show, but to show up the level at which they did, I was really, really impressed rather than surprised.
Right. Let's talk about some of the key performances in that game.
Yeah.
And I would let me single out the goalkeeper, Cynthia Conlon.
Yeah.
You look at the match stats after the game, and England finished the game with an XG of 5.21. They scored just 2 goals.
Yeah.
Now, you look at the number of shots she faced. She faced close to 7 clear goal-scoring opportunities that she saved.
Yeah.
Now, she finished with an XG of 2.99 in terms of goals prevented. So clearly, there were at least 3 clear goal-bound opportunities she was able to intercept.
Yeah.
Because of her brilliance.
Yeah, I remember 2 with her hands, 1 with her leg when she went down and realized she couldn't stretch.
Yes. You know, as she faced, the shots faced, like she finished at 4.99. She really kept the Queens in the game. Who is Cynthia Conlon, and where does she play? How come she's this good?
Cynthia Findip, for me, in the last 3-4 years, when she got introduced to the Black Queens, I think that has walked straight into that position, cemented it, and up to a point when we've been playing for the Olympic qualifiers. I remember one game she was unable to come, and that was when we conceded, and people were saying, hey, is it the fact that she's the only one that can keep for the Queens and all of that? I think that she walked into a set that she was able to fit in and then build herself over time, just like Susanna Madia. The first time I saw her with the Queens, I was like, no, this lady is too sluggish for a central defender. But I sit back now, and she's the best pair I would have for Portia or any other person in that central defense. So I think that just like Cynthia has grown into the game, moved to Malta, played with Squecky for quite some time. Getting to the latter part of last year, before we went for the WAFCON this year, she had a little issue there, not going back, almost not having a club. And then soon after WAFCON, she decides to join Samatex Ladies, a new entrant into the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League.
Okay.
You know, it's a huge decision to take, and I don't think she took that decision alone. Clearly, I keep saying that whoever advised her, and I'll not take that credit away from my husband because she's a married woman, and so clearly she would have that conversation with her husband ahead of her future. So to play for FC Samatex, yes, I had people telling me it was a bad decision, others saying it was a good decision because of the level she had played, coming back home to play for Samatex Lady. And I asked people that, where did she start from? This is where she started from before getting there. So clearly, if there's anyone that there's anywhere for her to restart, it's just home. She began this with Pelpia Ladies in the same Women's Premier League we're talking about. So I feel that she was able to encourage herself, got into FC Samatex, and I really appreciate Edmond Naka, Paula Yamba, and the leadership of FC Samatex for at least, yes, they qualified with a different goalkeeper, but I'm sure quality and for her level, they allowed her to keep at least in the openings of the season and the Women's FA Cup as well, getting her prepped up, getting her that fit. Consistency is key. And I think that is what Cynthia has enjoyed away from the WAFCON, because there was a lot of conversation as to where she was going. You know, in this country, it's difficult for goalkeepers to be shipped out. Yeah. So the minute you go out there and you come back and you have to find your way out there again, it becomes very confusing. And so I'm also happy that she didn't literally join, the big girls to now go and fight for a place, But FC Samatex, I'm sure it offered her that time to be able to calm herself down and know that, okay, I have that peace of mind to really get myself back up there. And it showed yesterday. If you had asked me before the game that who do I think will really stand out, like far above herself, I don't think I would have mentioned Cynthia among the my first 5 or maybe my first 3. I would have looked at how our defense would line up, but she, as the last woman, as a part of that defense yesterday, she really got everybody in out. And I think that it is good if we have it this way. It only shows that wherever you are playing, if you put in the work, it will show. And whether out there or here. And
I think after yesterday's performance, her days at Samatex certainly numbered.
Even before yesterday, her days were numbered. So I think that after yesterday, it has been far shortened to hours, if I can even say that, because I didn't see her playing FC Samatex at the end of the season. I envisaged she would have been around at least the end of the first round. But with what has happened yesterday,
she sold herself.
You know, ahead of the game, yesterday, that's what I said, Raymond. Go out there. Like, enjoy yourself and try to put yourself out there.
Portia Boachishi, fantastic addition, fantastic player for the Queens, ever present, ever reliable.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday, post game, apart from Conlan, she got a lot of praise for her efforts in yesterday's game.
I think that is her mannerism and her leadership skill away from the ball. You find her trying to put everyone in line in that soothing manner, not really yelling. Well, Christian Pierre said leaders don't have to yell. Yes, not really yelling, but you get her directing, making sure if it's her body, any part of her body that will get in line to at least cover up her colleagues, she does that. And like Madame Rosen rightly said, it's very difficult to even get a cough out of Portia Boachi. She wouldn't talk. She would prefer to let her foot do the talking for her on the pitch. And I think that kind of leadership has also covered the Queens to a larger extent. We have someone like that who command that aura, and that you know that, okay, this is a leader who will help me get the job done, not necessarily have to be always yelling, always out there. I think it is a positive one. And like she rightly said, started as a forward, knowing that this is football and this is what I have to do and want to do. She's put her all in it. And so, over 36 years, come on. It's not easy to be at that age and playing as she is. And like she said, her discipline is clearly what has brought her to this point. So, excellent leadership, excellent output yesterday. I think that the Queens gave everybody a reason to be proud of as Ghanaians and not to support women's football to a certain large extent.
What next for the Queens?
I think that we need more of these. From now up until March, if we can at least squeeze in 2 or 3 more, not to ask too much, if we get 1 international one, yes, maybe 2 with our neighbors. Ghana-Nigeria friendly won't be bad. It won't be bad at all. Ghana, South Africa, no, maybe Morocco friendly won't be bad as a host. I don't know, but something good should come from all of these. And I'm sure after this, we might even be lucky to get some countries looking to also come and join in this moment of glory or in this moment of recognition. So I'm really very positive we'll get 1 or 2 high-profile games amidst the lower ranks one that will get ahead of the 2026 WAFCON. I think that from the last edition, it has just been evident that if we plan, if we get some of these preps up and doing, correct most of our mistakes and getting there, it always gives results. We just did, I think, a few, and that was even just around Africa, went and were able to get to the final stage and then won that bronze medal. I think that if we keep up like this and pray and hope that these girls will also take their job seriously, get in shape, at least prevent some injuries that are preventable, and take care of themselves and are in good shape, it should be all well and good. But that doesn't mean that the doors are closed to the local players. I remember Kim said that in the interview we aired yesterday. I think the latter part of it, he mentioned that it doesn't mean that it is the end or you can't peak at a certain point. He still have his eyes back home, and so the young ones that are still playing in the Montagales Women's Premier League, there's a lot of space for them if they will keep working hard.
Right. Abigail Sena Sosu is here with us at SportyFM. And she's a women's football expert, sharing her thoughts with us on the Queen's performance yesterday against the Lionesses of England. But Senna, before you go, what do you make of those who also say, well, England played it soft with us, they didn't bring their regulars, these were players who were also looking for favour in Serena Fegman's squad, and so the Queens were not really tested by a very strong Lionesses squad?
Regulars who came up and were able to score 2 goals. I bet to differ, because for Serena Wegman, I'm sure she was also trying to at least tinker with her team and also look forward to another generation. So if the Russos and the Bethany's and the rest are not able to start every other day, yes, granted, she made 9 straight changes to the side that started against China. Yeah. But these are players from no mean club, from Arsenal, dominated by a Chelsea side. I think they had about 5 players or so. Just, I think, one Manchester United player, the goalkeeper, Animal House from Orlando. She is just having her second game for the Lionesses as well. But it doesn't look it. So clearly, they are even telling us that whoever they bring to maybe put on that jersey is equally as good as those on the bench. That is what they are also portraying. And I think that I do not really want to have that conversation, because I don't think Serena Wegman would also want to end the year on a low and say that she would just throw in players there to go and lose for losing sake. It's a friendly, all right, but I think that they also had something at the back of their mind that it is a year that they've come clean to have won a lot of friendlies and encounters, and I do not buy it. So if we see how Beaver Jones gave us a lot of problems yesterday, you will not tell me that she's a second string player. I do not think it is a totally true idea. Yes, they are not regulars, but I'm sure if someone tells you, so ultimately to say reserve player, you should understand. It means that they, even sitting on the bench, had their own ideas to come in there, and also at the end of the day made claims for themselves. Now, Serena Wegman also have a huge headache going into games, knowing that these are what even the girls on the bench can do. So I do not see it as a downside of the game at all.